Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's presentation. I'm excited to introduce you to the fascinating work titled Harvest by Manjula Padmanabhan. Today, we'll explore the themes and ideas behind this thought-provoking piece. Over the next few minutes, I'll guide you through what makes this work so compelling and relevant. So, let's get started. Today, I want to introduce you to the play Harvest by Manjula Padmanabhan, a thought-provoking work that really pushes us to think about the future. It's a futuristic play that explores some of the most pressing issues of our time, like body trade, technology, and exploitation. The play was written back in 1997, which shows how long these conversations have been ongoing and how relevant they still are today. Harvest received significant recognition, winning the Onassis Prize for Theater in the same year, which highlights its impact and importance in the world of drama. In terms of genre, it's a fascinating mix, combining post-colonial themes, science fiction, and dystopian drama. This blend allows it to delve into complex social and political issues through a speculative lens, making it both engaging and critically relevant. As we go through this presentation, keep in mind how Harvest connects to broader themes of technological advancement and ethical dilemmas, which are central to understanding the future of society and human rights. Welcome to our discussion on Harvest, a play that really pushes the boundaries of traditional storytelling. It's set in a future India that's faced with extreme poverty, which makes for a very compelling and provocative backdrop. The play uses satire to highlight how, in such a world, the human body itself can become just another commodity to be bought and sold. What's really striking here is how it explores the devastating impact of global inequality. The stark reality is that the poor are driven to sell their bodies to the rich, revealing a disturbing power imbalance. This raises profound questions about morality and dignity. Are we really upholding human rights when economic desperation pushes people into such situations? Ultimately, Harvest challenges us to think about the ethical implications of a highly commercialized world. It connects directly to our overall theme by prompting us to reflect on the human cost of inequality and commercialization. This play isn't just entertainment. It's a mirror that makes us consider our values and the kind of future we're shaping. Let's take a closer look at the setting of this scene. We're imagining a near future, a sort of futuristic India, where technological advancements have become deeply integrated into daily life. The place is a small Mumbai apartment, which is a powerful symbol of urban poverty, showing how space is limited and resources are constrained. What's really striking here is that the entire play takes place inside just one room. This confined space isn't just a physical limitation. It also represents themes of confinement and surveillance, suggesting how individuals might feel trapped or constantly watched in such environments. Now, technology plays a crucial role in this setting. It blurs the line between privacy and control, making us question, how much of our private lives are truly private in a world where technology is everywhere? This setting sets the stage for exploring the broader themes of our presentation, how technological power can influence personal freedom and societal dynamics. Let's take a closer look at the main characters in our story. First, we have Om Prakash, an unemployed man who, out of desperation, sells his organs to Interplanta. His situation highlights the economic struggles and moral dilemmas faced by many in similar circumstances. Next, there's Jaya, his wife. She's strong-willed and questions the decisions they make, serving as a voice of reason and concern in the narrative. Then we meet Ma, Om Prakash's mother. She's traditional and somewhat greedy, which adds tension and complexity to the family dynamics. We also have Jiddu, Om Prakash's carefree brother, who is mistaken for the donor. This mix-up introduces elements of comedy, but also raises questions about identity and sacrifice. Lastly, there's Ginny, a holographic foreign buyer representing Western power. Her presence symbolizes the global influence and the commodification of human parts. When we connect all these characters, we see how their interactions reflect broader themes of economic disparity, moral conflict, and the influence of global forces on individual lives. These characters help us understand the complex web of personal and societal issues at play in this story. In this slide, we see the key events of the story unfold. Om Prakash makes a desperate decision and signs a contract with Interplanta, agreeing to sell his organs in exchange for money. This highlights a critical theme of exploitation and the dark side of desperation. Meanwhile, his family begins to enjoy material luxuries, but at a significant cost. They lose their privacy and autonomy under Ginny's constant surveillance. Ginny watches them closely and controls their actions, symbolizing how power can corrupt and invade personal freedom. Tragically, Jiddu is mistakenly taken away and harvested for his organs, which underscores the dangers and moral issues surrounding such illegal practices. Finally, Jaya's act of rebellion is a powerful moment. She refuses to be controlled or exploited any longer. This scene drives home the importance of standing up against injustice, tying back to the overall theme of resistance and the fight for dignity in the face of oppression. In this final slide, we're summarizing the core themes of Harvest. The play is set in a bleak, dystopian future in a poor neighborhood of Mumbai, India. It examines how poverty and the forces of globalization can strip people of their dignity and push them into desperate choices. The story centers on Om Prakash, a young man who is unemployed and struggling to survive. He signs a contract with a powerful multinational company called Interplanta Services, which offers him a chance at a better life, money, and modern comforts. In exchange, Om agrees to donate his organs to a wealthy foreign buyer named Ginny. At first, his mother and wife are happy about the sudden wealth, thinking it will improve their lives. But they soon realize that this new comfort comes at a cost. Their lives are now monitored and controlled through advanced technology. This highlights the play's major themes: the exploitation of the vulnerable, the dehumanizing effects of technology, and the way globalization can force people into unimaginable choices. All of these elements connect to our overall discussion of how economic and technological forces shape human lives today. So, here we see Ginny, who only appears through a video screen, constantly watching the family, giving orders, and interfering in their daily routine. She symbolizes the control and exploitation that the Western world exerts over poorer nations. As the story unfolds, you notice how the family's privacy and freedom gradually diminish, turning their home into a kind of prison under constant surveillance. This highlights how invasive external forces can strip away personal liberties. Things take a tragic turn when Jiddu, Om's carefree brother, is mistaken for the donor and taken away by Interplanta. His body is then harvested, which is a stark symbol of how the poor are often reduced to mere commodities in a global system, treated as resources rather than human beings. This slide really underscores the core message of the presentation: how power dynamics and systemic exploitation impact individual lives, especially in vulnerable communities. It's a powerful reminder of the consequences when control is wielded without regard for human dignity. So in the end, Jaya really stands out as the strongest character in the story. She refuses to submit to Ginny's control or accept a system that treats human beings like property. Her final act of rebellion is incredibly powerful. It underscores the central message of the play, that human dignity, independence, and resistance against exploitation are essential values we must uphold. Through her actions, we see a call for us all to stand up against injustice. Now, Padmanabhan uses dark humor and science fiction elements to make his critique even sharper. He's highlighting the stark economic divide between the first and third worlds, showing how wealth and technology, while seemingly advancing society, can actually strip away our morality and compassion. It's a reminder that progress isn't just about material wealth, but also about maintaining our humanity. Together, these points connect back to the overall theme of the play, urging us to reflect on what truly matters in our pursuit of progress and justice. Let's take a closer look at some of the major themes that emerge in this discussion. First, globalization and exploitation are deeply interconnected, highlighting how economic and cultural forces can sometimes lead to the exploitation of vulnerable populations. This ties into the broader issue of how systems often prioritize profit over human well-being. Next, we see the theme of body commodification, where human bodies are increasingly treated as products or commodities. This raises important ethical questions about autonomy and dignity in a consumer-driven society. Technology and surveillance also play a significant role, transforming our interactions and how privacy is managed. The pervasive reach of technology can both empower and oppress, depending on how it's used. Then, there's the theme of gender and power, which underscores ongoing struggles for equality and the ways in which power dynamics can perpetuate inequality based on gender. Finally, the loss of humanity reminds us of the potential emotional and moral costs as these themes intersect. It calls us to reflect on what it means to stay human in a rapidly changing world. All of these themes connect back to our overall exploration of how societal transformations impact individual identity and ethics in contemporary life. Let's take a closer look at the symbolism in this slide. First, we see the wall or apartment, which represents confinement and a lack of freedom. It's a powerful image of how boundaries, whether physical or metaphorical, can restrict us. Then, there's the screen or technology, symbolizing Western control and surveillance. It highlights how modern technology can sometimes serve as a tool for monitoring and exerting influence over our lives. Next, we have the harvest, which stands for the exploitation of human life. It's a reminder of how labor and human effort can be commodified or taken advantage of. Finally, there's money and comfort, which create the illusion of progress. They mask our dependence on systems that keep us tethered, often hiding the true cost of our material well-being. These symbols all tie back to the broader theme of how external forces, be it walls, technology, or economic systems, can confine, control, and exploit us, often under the guise of progress and comfort. Recognizing these symbols helps us understand the deeper layers of control and dependence woven into our society. All right, let's talk about tone and style. Imagine it as the spice mix in our digital masala. Now, the tone here is satirical, ironic, with a dash of dark humor. Think of it as the spice that makes the dish memorable, even if it stings a little. We're not here to serve a bland, straight-laced dish. No, we're adding a pinch of sharp wit to keep things lively, even when discussing the gloom and doom of technology. And the style? It's a curious blend. Domestic realism meets science fiction, like a Bollywood family drama set against a spaceship backdrop. Minimal props, just enough to symbolize the bigger picture. Think of a lone chair or a flickering screen as our symbolic props. Simple, yet deeply meaningful. This minimalist approach helps us focus on the core message without distraction. Now here's where it gets interesting, our language. It's a mashup, a true globalization cocktail, English mixed with Indian idioms. So you might hear me say, we're riding this digital dole to the future. Or, this technology is like chai, everyone's got a different taste, but it keeps us going. It's about making the message resonate across borders, blending the familiar with the foreign. Overall, this slide reminds us that our tone and style are not just stylistic choices. They're tools to engage, to provoke thought, and to reflect the complex, interconnected world we're examining. It's about striking that balance, serious enough to matter, playful enough to remember. Let's take a closer look at Jaya's role and how she offers a feminist reading of the play. Jaya serves as the moral and emotional core, meaning she's the heart of the story and the moral compass guiding us through the narrative. She questions male passivity, challenging the idea that men should remain passive or disengaged, and she actively rejects any form of exploitation. This resistance is crucial because it highlights female agency, her ability to make choices and act independently, and autonomy, her control over her own life. What's really powerful here is how she redefines the concept of harvest. Instead of simply a literal gathering of crops, she reclaims it as a symbol of taking back control over her own life and choices. This shift underscores the overall theme of empowerment and resistance, showing how women can redefine traditional roles and expectations. So, Jaya's character not only drives the story forward, but also embodies the broader message of resilience and self-empowerment within a patriarchal context. Let's take a moment to reflect on some key messages. First, poverty is a powerful force that can push people to sell their humanity, something that should never happen, but unfortunately does in extreme circumstances. Next, we see how the wealthy can exploit the poor, often using technology and contractual agreements that favor their interests over those of the vulnerable. It's important to recognize that in a globalized world, ethics are sometimes pushed aside in favor of economic gain, which can lead to moral compromises. Finally, true progress, in my view, isn't just about economic growth or technological advancement. It's about ensuring freedom, equality, and dignity for everyone. When we align our efforts with these values, we move toward a world where development uplifts all and preserves our shared humanity. These messages remind us of what's truly important as we strive to create a more just and equitable future. So, to wrap things up, I want to emphasize that Harvest is more than just a story. It's a powerful commentary on global capitalism and the ways human beings are exploited within it. It really highlights how the labor and bodies of people from the third world are often used to support the comfort and lifestyles of the first world. What Padmanabhan is urging us to do is to question these systems, these structures, that devalue human life and dignity. He challenges us to think critically about how economic and social systems can perpetuate inequality and suffering, often unnoticed or accepted as normal. This connects directly to the overall theme we've been exploring: the imbalance of power and the human cost behind economic prosperity. Harvest pushes us to reflect on our role and responsibility within this global framework, urging us to see beyond the surface and recognize the human stories beneath the system.